Welcome to Speaking Up with Jessica Dumas. I'm a certified life coach that specializes in business, leadership, and all things speaking and confidence mindset. Let's chat. Hey, NCI friends and fam. How's it going out there today? How's your March going? We are trudging along to the end of the month. I've had a little bit more time in my office this week, but on Tuesday I did a team building with a group of educators, and it was a full day of team building. And so that really kept me on my feet. And the week before, if you remember, I shared with you that I did a talk with the city of Winnipeg called The Rise of Indigenous Women. And that one is not available online yet, but I will keep you posted when that gets uploaded because I feel really good about that talk, and that's something that I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to hear. The other thing that I did last week was I did presentations at a youth and young adults conference, and my presentation was called Expand Your Vision. And it feels really wonderful to be able to go in and inspire people. This is why I started speaking. When I started my business as a certified coach, that's what I wanted to do, is I wanted to get in front of people, tell them that their dreams are possible, and encourage them to go out and do what they want to do. And so I was really able to do that in those sessions last week. So that was very exciting. What I want to share with you today is some quick tips on how to do a confident introduction. And I'm going to share with you in a couple of minutes an unpopular opinion that I have when it comes to introductions. But before I get there, I did want to remind you that I have a public speaker training session available, and this is for workplaces. So if you have a workplace or groups of people that you work with, and you need to do some training in public speaking, and hey, FYI, we all should have public speaker training. This session is for you if you are sick of struggling with presentations. You just want to feel better in front of an audience or in front of the boardroom, wherever you're leading meetings or presentations. And if you want to learn how to engage with your audience, this is what I'm really excited to help you do in this workshop. So it's public speaker training. My website is jessicadumas.ca. You can find information on how to reach me there, or of course on Instagram. But what I want to be able to do in this training is give you practical tips for public speaking. We're going to talk about body language and how to captivate your audience. This is so important to me, and this is something that I'm really passionate about. In this session, I'm going to share with you my no-fail talk structure. This is what I give to all of my clients. We're going to use a theme builder. That's a tool that I made so that when you have so many ideas and you want to organize them, this is the tool that's going to help you do that, because I want you to make more impactful presentations that feel good. So you can book with me now and let's check that out. But back to confident introductions. So introductions are a funny thing because we all have to do them. There's always going to be a space where we're going to have to introduce ourselves, whether it's with a new client or a job interview, or we're attending a meeting, we're attending anywhere. Like, we have to do introductions. But why is it when we're going around the room and it's time to introduce ourselves, we kind of forget who we are? Put your hand up if that's happened to you. I know that there has been times where before I had any experience in speaking, and by the way, I didn't have public speaker training. I never took public speaker training. I am someone who has just always been obsessed with professional development, and I had so many opportunities to speak that I would do it, I would fail, and I would come back to my desk and I would say, how can I do this better? And so I've been doing this for 10 years, and I've put everything that I've learned into my public speaker training, and I also do offer this training in one-on-one coaching. So when we're going around the room, it's time to introduce ourselves. We panic, we freak out. And what I used to do, I legitimately 100% did this, is I was sitting in a large circle. It was a really big circle, and we were going around doing introductions. And as the speaker turn was getting closer to me, person to person to person to person. And I'm like, my turn's coming up. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say. My heart was pounding, and I got up and I left the room. I went to the washroom and I escaped because I didn't want to introduce myself in front of a group of people. So this was probably like 15 years ago. Like, this was a few years before I had any experience or anything related to opportunities and experience with public speaking. Isn't that hilarious? I'm so embarrassed to admit that, but it's true. It's true. 75% of people are affected by the fear of speaking, which is commonly unknown as glossophobia. I don't think anyone ever uses that word, but that's what it is. Like, people are afraid. So when you hear those words, tell me about yourself. The majority of people are tripping. They're like, I don't know what to say. I don't want to talk about myself. And what I want to be able to share with you, or what I want to be able to enable you to do with my message today, is have some helpful tips for when you're going on that interview or your professional meeting, or you're, making that introduction with whoever it is that you got to speak to next. This is going to be really helpful for you. If you're an entrepreneur, we have to network. We have to learn how to talk about ourselves and what we do, so that when we're meeting with someone in one-on-one or groups, that we can tell them about ourselves. And really, I just believe that it's my purpose to help you feel more prepared and confident when you have to do an introduction for yourself. So the first thing that I want to share with you is just a heads up of the way that we communicate happens in 3 parts. So of course, over the radio, this is going to change a little bit. But the 3 parts of the way that we communicate as human beings are the words that we use. That's one part of the way that we communicate. Voice and tone is the second way, the second part of it. And the third part of it is body language. Body language is a huge part of the way that we communicate with each other. And of course, as I said, because I'm on the radio, you can't see my body language, but I'm pretty sure that you can tell that if I stop using my voice to fluctuate, that my tone of voice, without paying too much attention to the voice or the volume or the modulation or pauses or anything like that, really makes the whole difference. But in fact, the words that we use are only 7% of the parts of the way that we communicate. So I love doing that little trivia thing when we are in a group session, because I get to be nerdy about those things. I love that. I love the way that we communicate. Now, why is introducing ourselves such a problem? Sometimes it's because people don't like to talk about themselves. People have said in my own research that it feels arrogant if they're talking about what they do, or it gives them anxiety if they have to speak in front of people. A common response is, I'm so boring, there's nothing interesting about me, but that's not true. When it comes to confident speaking, when it comes to introductions, this is something that we will discuss in our group sessions if you take public speaker training, but definitely something that I speak to my clients about in one-on-one coaching is getting over perfectionism, because being perfect is desirable, but it's not real. It's unrealistic. We also struggle with imposter syndrome, many of us. And imposter syndrome is that feeling of not deserving or having earned something. And sometimes we just overall feel not good enough, and we're spending too much time comparing ourselves to others. So body language is going to be really important when it comes to introductions, because people will make a first impression of you in the first few seconds that they look at you. It can take up to 7 seconds, which is super quick. So your body language when you are making an introduction should be open and flowy. And this is something that takes practice too, because when we are uncomfortable, the first thing that we want to do with our body is we want to remain stiff, and we want to keep our arms close to our body, because it's sort of this safety feature that our subconscious mind makes us respond in that way. So getting comfortable with your body language is something that we talk about in the training. But when it comes to confident introductions, here are the 3 things that you can use, okay? Are you ready? This is it. Get a pen, write it down. First thing is your name, clearly, right? Your name, you can see your title. Lots of people like to talk about the community that they are from. And if you don't have a title, if you don't have a job title, you can say who you are in the community. You can say that you're a student, or you are a learner of something, or you're something that you're passionate about. What do you want people to know you by? What do you want to be known for? That's what you're going to use right here in your introduction. And this shouldn't be longer than 2 sentences, and I'm being generous with that. So your name, where you fit into the community, and like just basically who you are. Just quick and simple. The second part of your introduction is, again, I'm being generous, 3 relevant statements. And these are 3 connecting points. So what connects you to community? This is where you can talk more about what you do or what you aspire to do. And that's something that's really important. Maybe you help people solve a problem. That's where you want to talk about it. But you can just come up with 3 points. If you're at a training session, I'm happy to be here. This is what I'm excited to learn. That could be one of the points. But what connects you to community, and what do you aspire to do? Just 3 statements in there. And then the last one, and how you're going to close it off, is really just to let others know that you're finished. And it takes the stress off of you. And it's just simply saying thank you. You can just close off by saying that. So my introduction might sound like, hi, my name is Jessica Dumas. I'm a professional speaker. I'm the host of the Confidence and Communication podcast and Speaking Up with Jessica Dumas, and I love to teach people to use their voice to take up space. I'm happy to be here. Thank you. Again, I know that my introduction is very practiced. I've been working on it for a really long time, and I help others do this for my job. But learning these few points has really, really helped me. And it helps my clients, and it helps students that I work with to just take that stress off, not worry so much. You're important. What you're doing is important. What you're doing is valuable. Your presence, your opinion, your thoughts and experience is worthy and valuable. So if you're invited somewhere and you are not sure what to say about your introduction, just remember your name. Who are you as part of the community? 3 relevant statements on what connects you to a community or where you aspire to be. And thank you. It's super easy. That's what I think. Next week, we're going to talk more specific about body language when you're walking into a room. These topics get me excited. Don't forget to reach out to me on Instagram. Check out my website at jessicadumas.ca and let me know if you have any questions about public speaker training or one-on-one coaching. Thank you so much for your time. Miigwech, ekose, merci. Get in touch with me on Instagram or my website at jessicadumas.ca.